This is your weekly trip to paradise, Louisiana style, with Gary Risponi and Don Dubuque. Paradise, Louisiana is presented by Demco, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative. Pods, moving and storage solved. Baton Rouge Coca-Cola Bottling Company, Benny's Car Wash and Oil Change, Louisiana Fish Fry Products, and by CCA Louisiana and the CCA Louisiana Star Tournament.
Welcome to Paradise, Louisiana, and another holiday edition of Paradise, Louisiana. And what better place can we be, Don?
Full of gifts, a lot of Christmas gifts, yeah.
All the Christmas gifts over here, all the stuff on half price. A lot of things coming up, gift certificates. Look at those reels over there, they're unbelievable right now. Some of them at half price. Every make and model they got here, so.
Gift cards are a great idea at a store like this because a lot of people don't want to give a gift card because they feel like it's impersonal. But when it's at a fishing tackle store, then you know what you're giving them and you're thinking about them. So it's a good idea, and you can get them for any denomination you want.
That's it. So, Don, I made a trip, a blast and cast on my own, Gene Hoover, and we were at Delacroix under my lease again back there, and got back there, a lot of low water, a lot of fog. We weren't expected to do much. The day before, people had limited out, my grandson, but we had enough birds to. If we'd have shot well and we'd have had a dog, we'd have done a lot better. Some of them we didn't shoot the little far out because we didn't have a dog and it would be hard to find. Gene Hoover knows that place. He'd been hunting it for years. First time he bragged on my lease. He told me that was a good one, and he said he'd been knowing the history of it. But he put me on some bass when we left, and some redfish. Is unbelievable how much him, Chef KD and them fish that much all the time. They know where the bass are and when they are. So, and by the way, both of them are going to start guiding.
Good deal. Well, speaking of duck hunting, we're in between splits right now. All three zones are closed. All three zones will reopen on the same weekend, December the 16th. So be ready to get back in action. It was a really fairly good first split, you know, looking at what we were faced with storm damage and that type of thing. But all in all, it was pretty good, and we'll get to more of that in the hunting report. Speaking of hunting, I just came back from South Dakota, Cajun invasion time, made a trip up to Dakota with some really nice folks. Had some really nice weather, not the best weather for pheasant hunting. You want it certainly cold to bunch the birds up, but we certainly got our fair share of shooting in on that. Also, we got a fishing report, the Abu Berkeley Garcia fishing report, and unfortunately, you know, as we've had to do in the past, we say goodbye to some sportsmen this weekend.
That's it.
All right, all that and more coming up from Superior Bait and Tackle in Baton Rouge, where you are watching Paradise, Louisiana.
Stay tuned for more Paradise, Louisiana. Voted Best of Louisiana Outdoors 3 years in a row.
Pod's moving in storage.
I need to clean out my study.
We'll deliver a container.
My brother-in-law's moving in.
Maybe he'll help you pack.
He's lazy.
We can refer some professionals.
It's just until he finds work.
We can keep things at our storage center for as long as it takes.
I am not happy about this.
Or you can keep your things on site for quick unloading.
Did you say freeloading?
I said unloading.
I heard freeloading.
I'm sure you did.
Store on site or let us drive your things to our secure storage center. Pods, moving and storage, solved.
Good morning. We're here in the duck blind in Delacroix. We're excited about the morning hunts, the last weekend of the first split. Here with Mr. Gary Risponi, and you're watching Paradise, Louisiana.
Nicky Fougier on camera. I got the man I know knows Delacroix fishing and hunting better than anybody. We already left, we forgot to till decoys, but we already got them. No water, a lot of fog, very little wind. Thank God so far no gnats. 2 ducks down already. I got my gun and no camera, so I'm happy. My grandson Blake and Micah and them helped me do this, and that's an 1.25 inch pipe. Watch this. This is my buddy cut these. There's a few palmettos in the woods, but it ain't the same thing. I'm just gonna lay these down right now and show you how fast. I'm just gonna show you all one side, taking them down. Guns unloaded, on the way. We're gonna put it in the this side's gonna go in the box. Gonna get everything ready. There you go. Got it ready. Just hold up a second. Hold that up for me when we get ready. All right. Got everything ready now. Take it off. Roll it up. Big bass in here.
Catch big bass right here.
You're making me screw. Try something different. Hold on. Look at this. He ain't trying to spin a bait. This is a good fish. Put the camera on me. Listen to this. Put the camera on me. Give me my hat back. My boy, Captain, that put me on. Look at that. I just throwing fish. He done had 3 fish. He got spinnerbait, everything, frog. Can you believe this? Kill ducks in the morning, blast and cast. Perfect fillet fish. Nicky's on camera. Nick, you get him a bunch of fish on camera, you can pick up the other rod. Let him jump. Get him, make him jump. Make him jump. I got spinnerbait, top water, man, everything I want to do, but look. Perfect little fillets. Perfect. Hold them up. There you got them?
Got him. We enjoying Delacroix because this is Paradise, Louisiana.
Isn't that amazing? Here I'm catching bass in Delacroix, not far from my camp. Look, see that? In Delacroix. The limit here. It's a good fish. I don't know what it is. That's a big fish. Look at this. This is what's gonna make the difference right here. I knew there had to be a bigger fish. Look at that.
I got the net in the boat here.
Yeah, I got baited line. I might not do it. Stay way at. Keep my captain over there way there. Net my own fish. And Nicky's on camera. All right, come on. I'm gonna knock you off. I wasn't gonna use the net. I changed my mind. Look at the colors on this fish. Look at the copper color on that fish. Is that beautiful or what? Look here, Cap.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Captain Gene Hoover.
Gene's fishing charter.
He's in my forward drive. Gene's fishing charter.
That's it. Gene's fishing charter.
Oh my goodness. Look. Well, I got a little one this time. That's good. Let's throw it back. Dig in. They got fat though. How much feed you got in it? Every other can. Green Hornet. That went in the Green Hornet. Oh, I can't only get him in the net. This is almost bull red. Matrix shed on a spinner, a little top water. Nick could fish the spinner, the hottest bait, the man in the front. That's why they called him Captain Gene. Captain Gene! He killed all the ducks this morning too. So, we're gonna clean fish. He's picking up.
You know, I usually say
Go
Tigers for LSU. I think tonight we'll say go Tigers for those Auburn
You gonna
Tigers.
pull for Auburn? Okay. Gene gonna drink a Michelob Ultra. I'm gonna drink a zero Coca-Cola. We're gonna fry some of them fish and
That's
watch
what I'm
ball
talking
game.
about.
Tomorrow morning we're gonna be after them ducks again.
Paradise, Louisiana.
Feels good in my heart and my soul when you hear my desire. I don't even want this day to taste the feeling.
Hi, I'm John Jackson, and you know we always say we gather our groceries out the bayou. Whether it's freshwater, saltwater, catfish, redfish, you have tons of choices when it comes to fish in Louisiana. But when I fry fish, there's only one choice, and that's Louisiana fish fry. My new favorite, the Cajun fish fry, has the perfect amount of cornmeal, corn flour, and the perfect mix of spices that really bring the heat. Hey, if you're craving Cajun, go look for the bright red bag at your local grocers. Bring home the taste of Louisiana with Louisiana Fish Fry.
Welcome back to Paradise, Louisiana, and every once in a while you got to leave Paradise, Louisiana and find paradise in another place. And I really enjoy going up to South Dakota, and this year's trip was so much more fun because we allotted enough time where when you go on these hunting or fishing trips out of state, that's the primary focus. But you can also make a vacation out of it, some sightseeing. And my daughter Cherie and her husband Blake Rollins and the two dogs, Ava, who used to live with me, now lives with them, and their new little German short-hair pointer, Briley, made the trip up there, and we made some stops. We stopped at Mount Rushmore, which I didn't know if that was on my bucket list, if I'd ever get to see it. Beautiful place, beautiful scene, and you can just kind of feel the history when you go up there. Then from there, we went through Custer State Park, and there's actually wild buffalo and bison and pronghorn antelope and prairie dogs and burros. There's wild horse herd up there. Just a gorgeous place, and you're allowed to drive through it and take video of it and get to see some different aspects of wildlife. And there's not a lot of people. If you don't like crowds, that's the place to go. Then we settled in at Draper at Bad River Bucks and Birds. Brett Weibel is our host, his partner Kyle, one of the guides, and young Colton. They really take their time to make sure you're going to have a hunt and cater to every need. We had some folks traveled up from Louisiana, met some new people. Glenn St. John and his buddy, Mr. Chan, came up there, Arthur, and they got a good taste of South Dakota pheasant hunting. We also hunted a few prairie chickens. Met a couple of guys up there too, Lee Harder and his buddy Jerry. They kept everybody going. And I got to tell you, the food at that place, they had a chef, a 5-star chef, who was cooking every meal for us. So that was fantastic. Good camaraderie.
What sort of stuff they cook? I know they went that much time, but
Salisbury steak. He cooked one night. He had barbecued ribs another night.
Okay.
He had a pasta, almost like a pasta jambalaya. He knew a lot about New Orleans cooking. In fact, he
Okay.
told me he kind of patterned a lot of his cooking after that, and some desserts that are just out of this world. Great time we had up there. The pheasant hunting was good. Unfortunately, I still got the shoulder problem. I got to shoot at some chickens shooting one-armed, and we'll show you a little bit of that. But for the most part, I was just basically driving the vehicle and making sure the hunters were there and trying to do some video. I shot some of this video, which normally I don't have the camera on my side. I'm usually on the other side of it.
you did good, I hope.
Well,
But no, Rushmore, my son, when he was hunting in Montana, and they also went to Mount
Mm-hmm.
Rushmore. That must be a wonderful course. I guess them states, you think Wyoming is a big, wide state, and where you were at,
Yeah.
they must be all on the border, huh?
Well,
They
kind of,
border
but I mean, you
form?
got to put some miles on to cover all those things. We heard from some of the people too about what they thought about our Cajun invasion to Draper, South Dakota, to Bad River Bucks and Birds, primarily hunting pheasant, but a lot more. Got a hen? Hen! Rooster! Sure, your second trip up here to Bad River Bucks and Birds. What do you like most about hunting up here?
Well, one thing is there are birds here like no place that I've ever seen. We've been Texas, Mississippi, Louisiana, Kansas, and the wildlife here, primarily the pheasant, are just unbelievable.
And as far as the dog work here, describe the dogs here at Bad River.
Well, what's interesting is us Southern folks like to bring our pointers up here, in which case there's actually a lot of opportunity in some of the grassland to use a pointing dog. But I think the most significant difference is the labs that they use for flushing. So those of us who are used to pointers work behind the dog, let the dogs find the birds. Here we're using Labradors in order to move the birds across the field and flush the birds out, and then the hunters get to take their shot.
It was excellent. The weather was super fantastic. Cooled down a little bit for us over the last couple of days, so birds really started flying today.
How different is it hunting here from Texas?
Pretty substantial. The birds here doesn't hold nearly as well as they do in Texas. So the dogs, they have to work a lot harder up here, and so do people.
All right, here's your wing shooting tip for the day. First of all, don't tear your rotator cuff in need of surgery. It's not fun. But if you do, let me suggest getting the Benelli M2 Compact 20-gauge shotgun. It allows you to shoot one-handed as long as you're sitting in a stationary position, shooting ducks from a blind or prairie chickens like we're doing here. Oh, here comes one now. And that's how it's done.
a challenge. We did kill some birds. I've never been to South Dakota, and I've never pheasant hunted, and it's obviously an experience I have not encountered. Most of the stuff I've done is goose hunting and duck hunting.
The terrain. How different is the terrain in South Dakota back to either North or South Louisiana?
There's no trees, and it's just kind of a flat plains, hilly in certain areas, and just crops, and that's it.
Does Bad River Bucks and Birds take care of what you need here?
I think they're probably the most cordial people I've ever run into, even from people in Canada. They do anything for you. Food's outstanding. Accommodations are great.
Would you say this is a female-friendly operation here?
Absolutely. I'd actually like to see more women here, but the guys are great. It's a nice opportunity to come out and not only take a couple of shots with the gun, but with your camera as well. The food is fantastic. All the amenities are of home. So absolutely, I think that there aren't enough women in the sport, and certainly taking advantage of the facilities here.
The best part about being a member of a Touchstone Energy Cooperative is that it's your Touchstone Energy Cooperative. That's the power of your co-op membership.
Demco, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
Pods moving and storage.
We just sold our house.
Congratulations.
We have 2 weeks to move.
We'll deliver a few containers.
Our new home's not ready.
No problem. You can store things with us while you're between homes.
We might need help.
We'll refer trusted packers.
We'll be staying at my brother's.
Well, that sounds...
He has kids of his own.
Well...
5 of them.
Ma'am?
Help.
Trust us for local and long-distance moving and store at our storage centers. Pods, moving and storage, solved.
Ask me about my Tempur-Pedic.
Ask me how fast I fall asleep.
Why not talk to someone who's sleeping on the most highly recommended bed in America?
Ask me about staying asleep.
Tempur-Pedic owners are more satisfied than owners of any traditional mattress brand.
Ask me how it feels after 10 years.
Tempur-Pedic, the most highly recommended bed in America.
Ask about Tempur-Pedic at Olin's, where you always get the guaranteed low price. Olin's is the only store in Baton Rouge and Lafayette with the full line of Tempur-Pedics.
Benny's Car Wash and Oil Change has been keeping cars and trucks in Baton Rouge clean and running smooth for over 50 years. At Benny's, we feature professional car washing, complete detailing, high-tech waxing and buffing, interior cleaning, and tire shine. Benny's, one stop for car maintenance with complete oil and lube services and even state inspections at our express locations. Visit one of our 5 convenient locations, including our newest store on Greenwell Springs Road. And don't forget to stop by Be Quick Convenience Store and Fuel Stop. Benny's Car Wash and Oil Change. Drive in dirty, drive out clean.
Welcome to the H&H Tournament Report and our news segment. And Gary, as far as tournaments go, not a whole lot this time of year, but we do have some results.
Yeah, we tried to give them last week. They were a little late getting in, and thanks to Luke Blessing. Over there at Turkey Trot Throwdown, results. First place, Ricky Smith. Second place was Josh Red. And third place, back again, he's always in the money, Kalen Johnson.
Way to go, Kalen.
But, that was a rough weekend. Some people... I had friends of mine had their sons in fishing, and they were just going to go spectate. They wound up getting a big boat, go get them and pull them in. It was a rough weekend, but they all caught fish, and this is the results from them. And Don, as far as news go, Louisiana Department of Wildlife Fisheries are holding a basic archery instructor workshop. Now, you said last week they gave out all the awards to these instructors have been doing it for years, and volunteer instructors. Well, they got workshops, so they help you, train you, and see what you know and how much value you're going to be to wildlife and fishery. This is an archery workshop, and it's going to be at, I got to make sure I'm reading this right, in Glencoe Charter School in Franklin, Louisiana. That's December the 6th.
All right, and then also we got some more news to talk about. Those of you that have been hearing all this buzz about the private land and the posted land, A new owner has taken over property, and actually it's two different owners of that track between Chef Pass and Rigolets over in Orleans Parish. There's been a lot of rumors. There's been told that people have been threatened with citations, that they've been told they can no longer fish in there. I spoke to the landowner in person. He says he has no intentions of keeping anyone out of there to fish, but he is going to ask the fishermen to please give his duck hunters who are paying for those leases priority. Give them preference. And that's no different than if I'm fishing in a public place and you come into that public place, you're going to respect my area there and stay away. It's no more different than that for duck hunting. So that's a great compromise. If you let those duck hunters be, fish somewhere else or delay your trip and come back after they leave. It's a 60-day season. Duck hunting doesn't take up much of the day. That's certainly going to be worth the price for you to go in there and fish on those private lands as well as the public. So that's kind of the story on that. Of course, the whole issue is all across the coast of Louisiana, and we haven't heard the last about private versus public for sure.
Well, I got one more shout out. I want to give it to Tito Homemade Vodka. By the way, they presented a check the other day for all their tournaments they got. By the way, it's going to be a lot of changes in that redfish circuit, but it's growing. All the Tito guys were there, and they gave out a check for $20,000 to Danica and the Wish to Fish.
Made them real happy, and I tell you what, I was there, and lucky I was, but even if I wasn't, I would have seen that feature on U.S. World and News Reporter, you getting that award, and that was pretty nice of them to award you with that, and you certainly deserved it for all the work you've done in helping them with that Wish to Fish.
Well,
they would not be where they were today without your help.
Well, let me say this. I wouldn't be where I was today without them, because they keep you going. I mean, if you don't want to do volunteer work and you don't tell people about volunteer work, it's what you get. It's a selfish.
It's rewarding. It really is.
It's so rewarding to me to do that. And don't get me wrong, nobody likes that pat on the back, especially for them girls that run that thing. You see how pretty those girls are?
Well,
and good dancers.
There's a lot of people who put in a lot of time and volunteer to make that effort go, and it's a great
It's a
great
passion.
organization.
It's a love for those kids. You know, we done took kids that were handicapped, inner city kids, with single parents. It's just amazing the people they draw to the outdoors, and that's the whole reason about
and you
it. Get them out of the house.
Ask any one of those guides that donate their time and volunteer, and they'll tell you the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
They're ready to go. Great organization, and congratulations to you and Wish to Fish, and thank you to Tito's. Stay with us when we come back. We got the Paradise, Louisiana Hunting Report and the Berkeley Abu Garcia Fishing Report here from Superior Bait and Tackle in Baton Rouge, where you're watching Paradise, Louisiana.
Put that right in your gut there. Put 2 fingers on each side of the reel. Come on, reel.
Oh, wow! That's what we've been waiting for. Oh, you.
Fight hard at it. Fight hard at it. Guess what? Not no more.
All right. Got it.
There you go.
How about that?
Give me the first redfish. Give me a thumbs up. Well, it's hunting season, and it's time for a hunting report.
Duck season has closed now. We'll reopen all 3 zones on the 16th. We got another half to go. And surprisingly, this first split was a lot better than what most people expected. Ryan Lambert, totally amazed down there in Buras at the amount of birds he's had, considering he had compromised vegetation from the storm. I talked to Captain Kirk Stansel on the complete opposite end of the state out there by Calcasieu. They enjoyed a really good last week of the first split, even picking up some mallards that are starting to move in there. One of the big surprises, Dogri, or Scarp, or Bluebill, whatever people want to call them. They've kind of been down for the last few years, but boy, they showed up, and they showed up early this year. They were compromising some of the biggest makeup of people's bag limits were Dogris. What are you laughing at? You don't like a Dogri?
I clean them. They're hard to clean.
No,
but I put some in there with some tail in that. Gene said he won't eat a Dogri. Now, if he said if you come up from north, but down here, they fishy. That's what he was saying. I'm just saying it like it is. Some people will not eat a Dogri.
They eat it if
They don't want to compare them now to a ringneck. Ringneck is a restaurant duck for years. That's a good duck. Any of them, redhead, they all got that tough skin. They're hard to clean. They best plucked. Skin is sweet, I hear, but when I mention Dogri to some people, they say,
yeah,
you
well,
kept
some
him
people
Dogri?
say the same thing about Poodoo too, until they taste it cooked right, and then they change their mind.
Poodoo, but I
you know,
don't
one of the other surprising things, if you're looking for a place to duck hunt, you don't have a lease, the wildlife management areas. We get the report each and every week, and Shane Granier of Wildlife and Fisheries provides that. 3.7 average. That is extremely high. That's between all of them. Some of them are much higher, some are a little lower. Generally, if you get about a 2.0 bird hunt per hunter bag limit, that's considered good. 3.7 is really excellent. So there's some good hunting on those public areas if you're still looking to go down.
Which some of them you meant?
Chafalaya's got the Wax Delta. You got Passalute down below Venice.
Right.
You got Point of Chien in Terrebonne Parish. And then you got national refuges too, like Big Branch and Bayou Sauvage, Rockefeller. There's a lot of them that you can find close to home.
And people want to know. Don, also we mentioned the conservation hunts are going on there. In between the splits, you can make some hunts. So some people are doing it. So that's strictly Rosses and snow geese. Let me tell you this. Delacroix is good. My reports from up north, them boys were seeing gray ducks and gadwalls. Brett Rollins and Lynn and them have been doing real good. Saturday and Sunday had a drop off. That fog hurt a lot of people. Ducks won't fly in the fog. Geese, sometimes if there are a lot of them in the area, and you can get them coming looking if you call in good.
Right.
Now, if you're in a conservation order right now and you got a lot of fog, and you get the spread don't have to be that big. Now, this is coming from people that really hunt. Now, we get them from Callahoola, from Straps and Stringer. We're getting them from all those areas in the central part of the state, like Angelina, where they still got speckle bellies. My buddies and them went to Arkansas. One of them, it was dry. I was talking to Wayne Amato, and he was saying, how it was. Brian Briggs and his group said where they were hunting was dry. My grandson went to North Louisiana, not far from Monroe and Mud Rouge in that area. First day they killed 5, second day they didn't kill a duck. They didn't see a duck. The fog was bad, everything was working against them, and birds left the area. I ain't heard from Bobby Black. He hunted over there for 3 weeks. He's been hammering them. In the breaks, other people now, them gray ducks in that break, there's always water. Drought don't bother them, so we're gonna have to wait until get a report. I can't wait till the second split because I'm gonna make my trip north, and I'll be over there with Bobby Black on vacation. Don, let me make sure, as far as ducks, Paige McLean, I sometime Camel Girl and Hunter, they had limits, and Celine, and they had a lot of widgeons and grays, so they had a couple of their good hunt, and then they went south. They didn't kill them. A couple of days they didn't kill but 4 or 5. Other days they had their limit, her and her dad and her brother and friends. Now, that's all the ducks. I didn't hear nothing from the Southwest. I know you have.
Yeah, I talked to Kirk Stansel out there, as I said, and the guys at Hackberry Rod and Gun had a great end of the first split, and looking forward to that second split over there with even some mallards starting to show up. Gray ducks making up the most of their kill over that way. Deer hunting. Right now, my area, close to where my hunting lease is Area 6, our rut is Christmas to New Year's, so it's really coming up. And there's been a lot of deer shot this year already ahead of those ruts, but now is the time to check the calendar for the rut and find out when it is in your area, because if you don't hunt deer very often, that's the time to be in the woods.
And you can call the wildlife officials or text them or do them. They give out reports, and
they have a map, a rut map you can check. I believe it's in Louisiana Sportsman Magazine, this issue.
Okay, yeah. But Glenn Nailing, his first deer in St. Bernard, small deer. You know, you don't hear much coming from St. Bernard, but when we was coming out of Delacroix the other day, there was a good, nice 8 or 9-point buck. It wasn't no big old widespread, but it was running along the bank, get ahead of the boat. So I've seen some deer over there in that area. Nikki Gaspard, this is the photo of the week. I mean, she got an 8-point, 238 pounds, symmetric looking, 19-inch spread. She killed in Bienville Parish. So I want to thank Paul for sending me that picture of a pretty girl, big deer. So Glenn, thanks for that. But hogs, y'all kill every one y'all can. Them big ones. This here's a little guy and a big hog. Jack Simpson with his monster hog here. By the way, this picture, the little guy and a big hog, Jack Pierce and Robert Tassan, and Pierce and Robert Tassan, sent by Brent Rollins. He sent these pictures, these kids, in big hog. It was a monster hog.
Hogzilla.
Hogzilla?
That's what they call one like that. Yeah. Well, you know, as far as other hunting, we got plenty of people now going to be starting to get out after the rabbits. The later we get into the season, rabbit season. I got good early reports on woodcock. Doesn't open for a couple more weeks, but they've been spotted here already. They've come down from up north. Of course, you still got squirrel open, and then we got the goose conservation.
What about Beautiful Rose where you heard from? Man?
Yeah, they got woodcock. They got woodcock down there already, so it might be a good season if you're a bird hunter. All right, when we come back, we'll tell you how and where to find some fish. It's the Berkeley Abu Garcia Fishing Report from Superior Bait and Tackle, where you're watching Paradise, Louisiana.
The best part about being a member of a Touchstone Energy Cooperative is that it's your Touchstone Energy Cooperative. That's the power of your co-op membership.
Demco, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
Pods moving in storage.
We just sold our house.
Congratulations.
We have 2 weeks to move.
We'll deliver a few containers.
Our new home's not ready.
No problem. You can store things with us while you're between homes.
We might need help.
We'll refer trusted packers.
We'll be staying at my brother's.
Well, that sounds...
He has kids of his own.
Well...
5 of them.
Ma'am?
Help.
Trust us for local and long-distance moving and store at our storage centers. Pods, moving and storage, solved.
Welcome to the Berkeley Abu Garcia Fishing Report. Yeah, there's a lot of hunting going on, and that's good news. I had a fisherman here in the store a little while ago told me, yeah, that's great for all those hunters. Gives us more room out in the water, and he's right. This is a time when you can kind of avoid the crowds if you're going to be fishing for a couple of reasons. One, a lot of people are preoccupied with hunting. The other reason is
what I like
it's
about
cold.
the idea is that when you duck hunt, you got to get up, even when you're close to 3 or 4 o'clock. Them fishermen, sometimes the fog lifts, you're going to want to travel. Them fish bite, or whatever the moon phase is, you bite Catch them all day long.
Well, let's
You ain't
find
gotta
out where
be
they
cold.
are and what people are telling us.
Well, I get a report from Dulac. I mean, you don't hear a lot from there, but they've been killing them. Frank Bro and John Bernard sending some pictures from there. They caught them on a glow and white gulp bait under a cork. Glow and white gulp, been hot everywhere. I don't know what it imitates, but whatever it is, especially they use that at night. The Leeville Pier, Warren Dupree, they're fishing. By the way, that's a new pier. Beautiful pier. You can go there and Leeville. You're always looking for people that want to fish. You fish off of Highway 1, going down to Breton Sound, off in the marina, and Hopedale. You can fish off the bank. I've seen people fishing and crabbing off the bank, Highway 1 in different places. But just remember, you be safe in what you're doing. But these are good places. But they got all these piers out now. You can look and find and where to fish. Lake Pontchartrain still, the Trussels. My buddies Harold and Ken Lambert, they're using slip cork. They run into Dudley out there. He's always got a few fish.
Did you talk to Dudley and Mike Gallo the other night at the party?
I know you did, though.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they said. They're still doing the slip cork. Gallo's using a little bit of the drop shot, but some 4 and 5 pound trout. Matt McCabe had caught one even bigger than that. I think he said he had caught one pushing 6. So those big trout are in the lake right now.
That's right. And the same way with them. Ken and Harold, they had some fish from 3 to 4 pounds. They had some beautiful trout. They didn't have numbers, but they had some big trout. Biloxi Marsh and Johnson Bayou, Mike DiMassini and his boy Mike Nizo catching lemon or bass, and then they're catching trout. All in the same place, you know, fishing all there, fishing that grass. Everywhere you go down in the marsh right now, you're catching bass. So I put it in salt water because they're catching redfish and speckled trout. Same thing we did with redfish and them. We didn't catch any speck. But Gene Hoover knows where they're catching. They're fishing in those lakes, little lakes, and different places like that. They're catching. Grand Isle, Tommy Vidrine, and Jay Lynn send me pictures all weekend, want me to come. I just can go the last minute. They fishing live shrimp in a tsunami, slow rolling salami, caminada, and the barges, and they fishing. He even sent me a little video of her pulling these 3 and 4 pound trout.
I hear bologna works pretty good too sometimes.
Is it that?
Yeah.
Tsunami. I said it wrong. You're making fun of me, kid. My fans ain't gonna like that.
I used to fish with bologna. I caught fish on bologna before. When I didn't have nothing else, I'd take a sandwich and put some bologna on.
We use that.
They probably like salami
we use that
better
for crawfish. The feet, Mark Barkley and Jerry Lacombe, they're fishing with Captain Greg DeGrees. They're fishing Little Lake, Brussels Lake, tight lining, chartreuse color baits, all plastic, H&H. Sparkle beetles on the edge of the grass or in the grass, just tight lining, catching trout again like we did last month. Down another place where they're doing combination bass and everything, speckled trout, redfish at Breton Sound and the Hopedale Marina. They're not going any far from the landing. They're small boats and they're catching bass. Doug Gedros from Pro Pool to take care of me for 15 years. Him and his son, he don't have much time off. He went over there, they left the landing, and he said, Daddy, stop right here. And they started catching bass and redfish right there. They're fresh water right now, Toledo Bend, they're very hot. They're fishing 25 foot of water, they're catching them now, but catching speckled, they call them specks over there. They also call them white perch and sac-a-lait. They're catching them big ones. They're big monsters. Also, I got a beautiful picture of them guys was sending me a report coming from Pigeon. And that pigeon there in the spillway they're doing. Lake Verret, they're not catching numbers, but they catch them on the Takapaw side, around the trees when the wind is not blowing and it's good weather. And fog don't hurt them if you're not going to cross that lake. If you get across that lake in the fog, you ain't got a GPS, you're going to go round and round in circles. So got to be careful of the fog. Any other place I got right now, spillway, I told you what I said, bass and sac-a-lait. But the best report I'm getting right now is the marsh. I'm talking about Turtle Bar and those areas and that down there, Bob Black. Gary Luke and Roy Ruban, they had limits 2 days over there fishing chartreuse and white spinnerbait. So that's my report.
Very good. Gary, unfortunately, you said goodbye to some sportswomen, friends of yours this week.
Yeah, Miss Liz Gonzalez, she had a camp right by me at Bell River. as my high school coach. I felt real close. She loved sitting on a pier drinking coffee, catching fish. She just loved the camp, being there, and just people, like you said before, there's probably thousands of them we get every week. John Inquest's mother passed away. They supported that wish, you know, at Dream Day, Fishing Galore. John Inquest was one of our sponsors of our TV show. His mother lost it. She was very into outdoors and very into her family. It's a big loss, but even more than that, we lost a fellow TV host and especially a good friend that we shared stuff, Tony Fontenot. So, and you got some things, and you know about Tony. I was at his funeral. The church over there was packed. It was unbelievable how many people, you know, came to pay their respect to his family. And things that happen like that are tragic. We don't know why, but I think Tony's in heaven right now looking down on us, and hope he blesses us.
Well, you know, the Casting Cajun, everybody you talk to liked the guy. He was just one of those really good guys. We're in a small industry, and, you know, it's always good to have good relations with him, and we certainly did. I last spoke to Tony the Friday after Thanksgiving. It was about 3 days before he died, and he called me, and we just chatted a little bit about fishing and some other things and wished each other a happy Thanksgiving, and I'll remember that phone call. The thing I think that people didn't get about Tony was, yeah, sure, he provided information, how to, where to, he showed you where to go and how to catch them. But what people didn't appreciate, Tony was a great ambassador for the state. He reached out to other areas and got people interested in fishing in his area and in South Louisiana. And I think the industry owes a debt of gratitude to Tony, and our condolences to his family.
He had Gary Krause working with him, and Gary worked with us very close for years, and he still does, and back and forth with Tony. Gary was telling me how many incidents, you know, like I was telling yourself, how much I like to do. Tony stop on the road, help people, tell them where to fish. And Wounded Warrior Heroes, same thing we were involved in. A lot of those organizations, you can think about it. Autism, you know, all them kids with autism, you ain't got to worry about it. Tony's going to be there. We shared the mic a lot of times, a lot of those events. He was all about giving, so he gave a lot. So,
well, he's up there telling Boudreaux and Thibodeau jokes, that's for sure. We say goodbye, gone but not forgotten. Tony Fontenot, the Casting Cajun.
Many years ago, the Pope passed through Louisiana while he was touring the United States. So he's sitting in the back of his limo. He knocks on the window, and he told the driver, pull over. Driver pulls over. He says, I want to drive. Driver said, well, I can't argue with you. You're the Pope. Driver got in the back seat. The Pope's driving. He's having so much fun. He doesn't realize it. Before you know it, he's doing 80 miles an hour right through downtown Breaux Bridge. Cop pulls him over, walks up to the window and knocks on the glass. When the window goes down, cop says, oh my goodness. Excuse me, Holy Father, I'll be right back. Goes to his unit, gets on the radio, says, Chief. He said, I just pulled over a limo doing 80 miles an hour through town. She said, well, you better bring that sucker to jail. He said, I don't know if I should. It's somebody pretty important. He said, well, who is it? Is it the mayor? He said, no, he's more important than that. He said, is it the governor? He said, no, he's even more important than that. He said, well, tell me, who is it? He said, I'm not sure, but he's got the Pope for a driver. Welcome to Casting Cajuns. We're your hosts, Tony Fontenot and Bo Graffi.
Tony Saxon.
Fishing Lake the Cat out of Fargo Canal Land in Ontario, looking for speckled trout.
All right. That's a little speckled trout.
Well, guys, for the last 17 years, I've been fishing with Tony, co-hosting Casting Cajun. Before that was Sportsman's Paradise on HTV. You're gonna miss Tony a lot. He had a heart as big as the ocean. I know he's up there watching us somewhere, so until next time, keep on casting.
Welcome to Casting Cajuns. We're aboard Good Vibrations, Deontay, Dreams Come True Kid, and we're out here making his dream come true. So get ready for an exciting half hour, and I mean a really exciting half hour of Casting Cajun. Woo! Get it!
All I can say is the good Lord in the heavens have a great angel up there now. I hate to see you go, but I know you're in a better place, and I know you fully believed in Jesus Christ. We've talked about that. So from a friend to a friend, I miss you, and I will miss you, and I can't wait to see you again when we reunite in heaven. From the Louisiana State Police side, we thank you for everything you did for us. You were always there every time I called you. Every time we needed something for a child in need, you never once hesitated. and we thank you for that.
Good. That's your fish, buddy. That's your fish. Look at it. Look at it. Look at it.
That's your fish. That's what you play.
It's been a true blessing knowing Tony these past several years. We've had some great times. Him as my friend and also as my fishing partner. He was a true blessing in a lot of people's lives, including mine. And he is going to be truly missed by me, my family, and all others who've known him. And I hope we can all just keep on casting.
Keep on casting, Tony! Take your time. You don't want to break off because it ain't real heavy line. I didn't even check the drag, but... Woo, what you got, Joe? Hey, Joe. Where you going with that rod in your hand?
I'm Master Sergeant Ish Villegas. I work with the SOCOM Care Coalition. I met Tony a few years back on a Wounded War Heroes fishing trip, and I've had that opportunity to go fishing with him multiple times. Tony was a fun-loving, energetic, extremely energetic guy. He had a kind heart, really enjoyed the work that he did with our Wounded War Heroes and our special needs kids. He was truly inspiring, and Tony will be missed.
If this is not already on your bucket list, you need to put it on your bucket list. And you need to call now and book your trip if you want to get it off your bucket list by next year.
Yeah, you're right.
Thank you so much. And speaking of thanks, as always, we have to give a special thanks to our military, both our active troops and our veterans. We love you, appreciate all you've done for our freedom. So until next time, keep on casting.
Hey guys, it's Captain Chaz with Dockside TV. Just sitting here thinking about what a wonderful person that we lost this week, and a dear friend of mine that I dealt with for years, with Mr. Tony Fontenot at Casting Cajun. Just want to say that all of our prayers here at the Matrix Shed family go out to Casting Cajun, and we'll always remember, keep on casting.
I'm with my idol, Captain Lance Coon Schwest, and my other idol, Captain Joe Schwest, his brother. Two of the best tarpon fishermen in South Louisiana, maybe in the world. We're out here, as you guessed it, looking for tarpon. With none other than the Coon Pop, designed and invented by Captain Coon right here. There he is. Oh. All right. Whoa.
Here he comes.
Wow! That was nice. That was nice. I can see the color of the bait. And an orange.
Go with him, Dan. Go with him. There you go.
Yeehaw! That hurts when you hit your head on the boat. Ah, Joe!
What I'm talking about, Willis. Woo! Woo! Put him here.
Now they said I'm tired after catching that big tarpon. So let's see how tired I am. Oh, yeah, I'm too tired.
That's what I'm talking about. Woo!
He ain't tired enough.
That's what I'm talking about.
I'm Mike Chesney, a good friend to Tony Fontenot's, and he was a great friend of mine and all the Wounded War Heroes. And from all the veterans and all of the great people that he's always helped for his life and for all of ours, just keep on casting.
Keep on casting, Tony. We're sure gonna miss you.
I hope everybody that's watched Casting Cajun has enjoyed it as much as Tony and I have making it. If you knew Tony, you knew what you saw is what you got. He loved people, he loved fishing, and as much as anything, he really loved the veterans. I'm always gonna miss Tony Fontenot. Fish on.
Ooh. Got my own big girl. Wonder if I can lip her on the top.
Turn her sideways to the boat and reach around the belly.
Yes, indeed. That girl, full of eggs. Not huge, but for me, that's a nice fish.
All right. Tell me what you think about Toledo Bend in the springtime now, Tony.
I think I'm starting to like Toledo Bend more and more.
You know, I met Tony about 4 years ago. He actually called me and came into my office in Baton Rouge, and one of the things that he asked me was, you know, what could I do to make my show better? And being in the TV business for 15 years or so, only thing I could give him advice-wise was just keep being yourself and to be real. And I think that's probably what I remember most about Tony, is that he always was the real guy. His show was named Casting Cajun for a reason, because he was a real Cajun guy. The jokes at the end of the show were his jokes, were Boudreaux Thibodeau jokes, that Cajun philosophy on jokes that everybody loves so much. And I think that's what I'm going to miss about Tony, is that he was one of the real guys, and the fishing industry is going to miss him because we need more of those people out there. He helped not only the military, he took kids fishing, he educated, he passed on what his knowledge was to other people. And I guess that's what it's all about, is sharing. And that was what Tony's TV show was about, was sharing his adventures with everyone else. And we can only hope in the TV business that we stay as real as Tony always was.
Boudreaux and Thibodeau are avid deer hunters. They read about how big the deer were in Michigan, so they decided they wanted to take a trip up there and see what they could shoot. They get out there, they're not in the stand 15 minutes. Boudreaux hears a shot go off. Bam! Calls Thibodeau on the cell phone. Thibodeau says, I got a big one, Boudreaux. Come over here and help me with it. So they go over there, man, he's got this huge 14-point buck, got a spread like this on that rack. So they grab it by the antlers, and they're walking and dragging, and all of a sudden Thibodeau stops. And these antlers are so wide, they're getting caught in all the tree branches and vines and everything. Thibodeau said, boy, are we dumb. Don't you remember what those folks at the lodge told us? Said, these deer are so big over here, you can't drag them out by the antlers. It gets caught up in everything. You got to drag them by the back legs. So they each grab the back leg, and they drag, and it's going pretty good. Thibodeau said, man, this is a lot better, Boudreaux. Boudreaux said, yeah, but there's just one thing. Thibodeau said, what's that? He said, we keep getting further and further away from the truck.
Paradise, Louisiana is presented by Demco, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative. Pods, moving and storage solved. Baton Rouge Coca-Cola Bottling Company, Benny's Car Wash and Oil Change, Louisiana Fish Fry Products, and by CCA Louisiana and the CCA Louisiana Star Tournament.